The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was quiet. Too quiet. Admiral Kyung-ho looked around at the empty seats where hundreds of species once sat. Now, only 12 races remained from what used to be thousands. "We need to talk about Earth," said Council Leader Hyde. Her voice shook as she spoke. Kyung-ho rolled his eyes. "Not this again. That little blue planet is nothing. The humans there barely know how to fly to their own moon." A small, gray alien named Bong-su stood up from the back row. He was one of the few survivors from the Zeta system. His people had been strong once. Now only 50 of them were left alive. "You must listen," Bong-su said. "Do not go to Earth. It is a trap." The other council members started to laugh. The humans looked so weak from their spy ships. They fought each other over small pieces of land. They still used fire to make their machines work. How could they be dangerous? "Tell us your story again," said Admiral Jihai from the Veltarian Empire. She smiled in a mean way. "Maybe this time we will believe your fairy tales." Bong-su's hand shook as he began to speak. "My people were explorers. We found Earth 50 years ago. The humans seemed so young, so innocent. They had just learned to split the atom. We thought we could help them." He paused and closed his eyes. The memory still hurt. "We landed on their planet in peace. We came with gifts and knowledge. The humans welcomed us with smiles. Their leader, a man named To, invited us to their cities. He showed us their art, their music, their children playing in parks." "Sounds terrible," joked Admiral Dongwu. The other aliens laughed. "Wait," Bong-su said. "Let me finish. For 3 months, everything was perfect. We shared our technology. We taught them about the stars. They seemed so grateful, so eager to learn." The small alien's voice got quieter. "Then we made a mistake. We told them about the other races in the galaxy. We told them some of these races might not be friendly. We thought they should know, and asked Hyjin. Everything changed. The humans stopped being friendly. They became cold, focused. Their leader Teo asked us strange questions. How many ships did the hostile races have? What were their weapons like? How did they fight wars?" Bong-su stood up and walked to the center of the room. "We should have left then, but we thought they were just scared. We tried to calm them down. We told them not to worry. We said the Galactic Council would protect them." Admiral Kyung-ho leaned forward. "Get to the point, little one." "The point is this," Bong-su said loudly. "We were wrong about humans. They are not innocent. They are not weak. They are hunters pretending to be prey." The room got quiet again. One night, their leader To invited us to a big dinner. All of our people came. We thought it was to celebrate our friendship. The humans served us wonderful food and drinks. They played beautiful music. Children gave us flowers. Bong-su's voice broke. The food was poisoned. Not enough to kill us, just enough to make us weak. While we were sick, human soldiers surrounded our ship. But they did not attack us. "What did they do?" asked Hyjin. "They studied us. For weeks, they kept us alive and studied everything about us. Our biology, our technology, our weapons, our weaknesses. The human called To visited us every day. He was always polite, always smiling, but his eyes were cold like ice." The alien took a deep breath. "They let us go after a month. Teo came to say goodbye. He thanked us for teaching them so much. Then he said something I will never forget." "What did he say?" "He said, 'Thank you for showing us we are not alone in the universe. Now we know what we need to prepare for.'" Bong-su sat down heavily. "We left Earth thinking we were lucky to be alive. We thought the humans would forget about us and go back to their simple lives." Admiral Kyung-ho was getting impatient. "So what happened? Did they attack you?" "No," Bong-su said quietly. "They did something worse. They disappeared." "What do you mean?" "For 40 years, we watched Earth from far away. The humans stopped fighting each other. All their wars ended at the same time. Their whole planet became quiet. No more radio signals, no more space flights, nothing." "Maybe they destroyed themselves," suggested Admiral Jihai. "That is what we thought too. So 5 years ago, we sent a small ship to check on them. Just 3 of our people, flying in our fastest scout ship." The room was completely quiet now. The ship never came back. "We sent another one. It also disappeared. Then we sent our biggest warship with 100 soldiers." Bong-su looked around the room at each council member. 3 days later, we found the ship floating in space near their moon. Everyone on board was dead, but they were not killed by weapons. They were killed by something else." "What?" asked Hyjin. "Fear. Pure fear. The medical scans showed they died from terror. Their hearts just stopped, but there was something else on the ship. A message from the humans." Admiral Kyung-ho was not laughing anymore. "What did it say?" "It was a video message from the same human leader Teo, but he was 40 years older. He looked at the camera and said, 'We remember you. We remember your visit. We have been waiting for you to come back. Thank you for teaching us that we need to be ready. We are ready now.'" The council chamber was silent for a long time. "That is impossible," said Admiral Dongwu. "Humans are primitive. They cannot even travel between stars properly." Bong-su stood up again. "That is what we thought too. That is what everyone thinks, and that is exactly what makes them so dangerous. He pointed at the empty seats around them. Look around this room. Where are the Korth Empire? Where are the Zelen Federation? Where are the mighty Drakals? All of them thought humans were weak. All of them are gone now. Gone where? Asked Hyjin. Dead, all dead. The few survivors who escaped tell the same story. They went to Earth expecting easy victory. They found hell instead. Admiral Kung-ho stood up angrily. This is nonsense. The Veltarian Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds. We have ships that can destroy planets. These humans still use metal to build their flying machines. Yes, said Bongsu sadly. That is exactly what the others said, right before they died. The small alien walked toward the door. Before leaving, he turned back one more time. I have warned you. Do not go to Earth. It is a trap. The humans are not what they seem. They have been preparing for us for 50 years. They are ready. The door closed behind him, leaving the council members alone with their thoughts and their pride. Admiral Kyung-ho looked around the room. Who believes this foolishness? No one answered. Good, he said with a cold smile. Prepare the fleet. It is time to show these humans what real power looks like. Outside the council chamber, Bongsu heard the laughter and felt sorry for them. Soon, there would be no more laughter. Soon, there would be only silence. The humans were waiting. Fleet Commander Taemin stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue planet ahead. Earth looked so peaceful from space. White clouds moved slowly over green and brown land. The oceans sparkled in the sunlight. This is what we were afraid of, asked Captain Young-sik, shaking his head. It looks like a paradise world, Taemin smiled. The council was right. These humans are nothing special. Look at their pathetic defenses. On the main screen, they could see Earth's satellites and space stations. The human technology looked ancient compared to Veltarian ships. Their space stations were built from metal and glass, held together with what looked like bolts and welding. Sir, said Lieutenant Sungmin from his control station. We are receiving a transmission from the planet. Put it on screen, ordered Taemin. The image changed to show two humans standing in what looked like a simple office. The woman was older, with gray hair and kind eyes. She wore a white coat like a doctor. The man was younger, with strong hands, covered in oil stains like a mechanic. Greetings, said the woman in perfect Galactic standard language. My name is Dr. Boram Kim. This is Engineer Woojin Park. We represent the United Earth Government. Taemin was surprised. You speak our language. Dr. Boram smiled. We have been expecting you for some time. We learned your language from our friends who visited us many years ago. Friends, asked Captain Young-sik quietly. Engineer, Woojin stepped forward. We know why you are here. You have come to make us part of your galactic empire. We understand this is how things work in space. Taemin felt confused. This was not how first contact usually went. Most primitive species either ran away in fear or attacked in panic. These humans seemed calm, almost happy to see them. We wish to surrender, said Dr. Boram. We know we cannot fight your advanced technology. We are just simple people from a small world. We do not want war. This is too easy, whispered Captain Youngus. Taemin ignored him. Very good. You are wise to accept the power of the Veltarian Empire. We will send teams down to your planet to begin the integration process. Of course, said Engineer Woojin. But first, would you like to see our solar system? We are very proud of what we have built here. It would be an honor to show you around. That is not necessary, said Tae-min. Dr. Boram looked sad. Please, Commander, we have worked so hard to prepare for this day. It would mean so much to us if you could see what we have accomplished. Think of it as a tour before we become part of your empire. Taemin thought about it. These humans seem so eager to please. A quick tour would not hurt anything. Besides, it might be interesting to see how primitive species lived. Very well, he said. We will follow your ships. 3 small human ships appeared on their screens. They looked fragile, like toys compared to the massive Veltarian warships. The human ships moved slowly toward the outer edge of the solar system. Sir, said Lieutenant Sungmin, should we keep our weapons ready? Taemin laughed. Against what? Look at those tiny ships. Our smallest fighter could destroy all 3 of them. As they flew deeper into the solar system, Engineer Woojin's voice came over the radio. On your left, you can see our asteroid belt. We have been mining there for many years. Captain Young-sik looked at the screen. Strange. The asteroids seem to be in very organized patterns. Probably just mining operations, said Taemin. These humans like to organize everything. Dr. Boram's voice was cheerful. And here is our beautiful Mars. We have been trying to grow plants there. It is very difficult work, but we never give up. They passed the red planet. Taemin noticed many structures on the surface, but they looked like simple domes and tunnels. Nothing threatening. Now we come to our pride and joy, said Engineer Woojin. Our moon. We have lived there for over 50 years now. As they got closer to Earth's moon, Taemin saw that the humans had built many bases on the surface. There were roads connecting different areas and what looked like factories or power stations. Very impressive for such a young species, he said politely. Thank you, said Dr. Bjorn. We are simple people, but we work very hard. Would you like to come closer and see our main base? Why not, said Timon. Take us in. As the fleet moved closer to the moon, something felt wrong. Captain Young-sik was studying his instruments with a worried look. Sir, he said quietly, I am getting strange readings from those asteroid formations. What kind of readings? They seem to be ... moving. In coordination. Timon looked at the main screen. The asteroids did seem to be shifting position, but very slowly. Probably just the effect of our ship's gravity fields. Dr. Bjorn's voice came over the radio again. Commander Timon, there is something we need to tell you. What is it? The human woman's face appeared on screen again, but now her kind smile was gone. Her eyes looked cold and hard. We lied to you. What? Engineer Wu Jin appeared next to her. His friendly manner was also gone. We are not simple people. We are not primitive, and we are definitely not surrendering. Timon felt ice in his stomach. What are you talking about? Dr. Borum leaned forward. 50 years ago, some aliens visited our world. They were kind to us, but they made a mistake. They told us about the galaxy. They told us about species like you. So we learned that we were not alone. We learned that some aliens were friendly, but others were not. We learned that the strong ones take whatever they want from the weak ones. Engineer Wu Jin smiled, but it was not a nice smile. We decided we did not want to be weak. Suddenly, alarms started going off all over the Veltarian flagship. Lieutenant Sun Min shouted. From his station, sir, those asteroids are not asteroids. They are weapons platforms. On the screen, the rocky surfaces of thousands of asteroids fell away like masks. Underneath were gleaming metal structures covered with weapon barrels and missile launchers. The moon, shouted Captain Young-sik. Look at the moon. The surface of Earth's moon was opening up like a flower. Huge sections of rock slid aside to reveal massive gun batteries and launch tubes. The entire moon had been turned into a fortress. Dr. Bjorn's voice was calm and cold. You came here thinking you would conquer primitive humans. You thought we would be easy prey. More alarms went off. Lieutenant Sung Min's voice cracked with fear. Sir, Earth's satellites are moving. They are all weapons platforms too. Engineer Wu Jin appeared on screen again. We have been preparing for this day for 50 years. Every satellite, every space station, every base on every planet and moon in our system, all of them are weapons. Timon could not believe what he was seeing. This is impossible. You are supposed to be primitive. Dr. Bjorn smiled that cold smile again. We told you we were peaceful. We never said we were defenseless. The first missiles launched from the moon. Thousands of them, streaking toward the Veltarian fleet like angry stars. All ships, evasive action, shouted Timon. Return fire, but it was too late. The humans had positioned their fleet perfectly in the center of a killing field, weapons fired from every direction. The asteroids, the moon, the satellites, even what they thought were simple space stations. Captain Young-sik grabbed Timon's arm. Sir, we need to retreat. This is a trap. Dr. Bjorn's voice came over the radio one last time. Welcome to Earth, Commander. We hope you enjoy your stay. The screen went black as the first human missiles hit their ship. Admiral Kyung-ho stood in his war room, staring at the reports from Earth. Half of Commander Timon's fleet was gone. The other half had barely escaped back to Veltarian space. This cannot be right, he said, throwing the datapad across the room. Humans do not have this kind of technology. General Dongwu picked up the broken pad. Sir, Commander Timon saw it with his own eyes. The entire solar system is a weapon. Timon is a coward, shouted Kyung-ho. He ran away from a few primitive missiles. Admiral Jihai entered the room carrying more reports. Sir, we have analyzed the weapons the humans used. Their technology is different from ours. Different? How? They do not fight like we do. We build big ships with big guns and fight ship to ship. The humans turn their whole solar system into one giant weapon. Every rock, every moon, every satellite works together. Kyung-ho slammed his fist on the table. So what? We have the biggest fleet in the galaxy. We will bring so many ships that their little tricks will not matter. General Dongwu looked worried. Sir, maybe we should study them more first. Learn how they fight before we attack again. Study them. Kyung-ho's face turned red with anger. The Veltarian Empire does not study inferior species. We conquer them. He walked to the big window that showed their home planet below. Beautiful cities covered the surface. Billions of Veltarians lived in peace and comfort, protected by the strongest military in the galaxy. For 1,000 years, we have ruled the stars, he said quietly. No one has ever defeated us. Not the Korth Empire. Not the Zelan Federation. Not anyone. Admiral Jihai stepped forward. Sir, those empires were like us. They fought with honor and followed the rules of war. These humans are different. Different how? They do not care about honor. They only care about winning. Turned around, then we will show them what real warriors look like. Call up the entire fleet. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon we have. Sir, said General Dongwu carefully, that would leave our homeworlds unprotected. From what, these humans cannot even leave their own solar system properly. 3 months later, the largest fleet in galactic history gathered at the edge of Earth's solar system. 5,000 warships filled the dark space between the stars. Each ship carried thousands of soldiers ready to fight. Admiral Kung Ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Glory. It was the biggest, most powerful ship ever built. Its main gun could destroy a moon with one shot. Open a channel. To all ships, he ordered. Channel open, sir. Warriors of the Veltarian Empire. His voice echoed through every ship in the fleet. Today we face an enemy that thinks it can trick us with clever traps. They are wrong. We are not cowards who run from the first sign of trouble. We are Veltarians. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. We conquer. Cheers erupted from 5,000 ships. These humans think they are smart. They think their little tricks make them strong, but they have never faced the full power of our empire. Today, they will learn what real strength looks like. The fleet moved forward toward Earth, but as they entered the solar system, strange things began to happen. Ships started disappearing from the edges of the formation, not destroyed by visible weapons, just gone. Sir, reported Captain Sung Ho from the sensor station, we have lost contact with 12 ships on our left flank. Enemy attack. No, sir, they just vanished. No explosions, no distress signals. They were there one moment, gone the next. Admiral Jihai frowned as she studied her own readings. Sir, I am detecting something strange. The space around us does not feel right. What do you mean? It is like the humans have changed the space itself. Gravity feels wrong. My instruments show we are flying through empty space, but it feels like we are flying through thick water. More ships began to disappear, always from the edges, always silently. The great fleet that had seemed so powerful was slowly being eaten away, like sugar and rain. Sir, shouted Captain Sung Ho, message coming in from the humans. Put it on screen. The image showed a human woman in military uniform. She looked about 40 years old, with short black hair and calm eyes. Behind her stood a man in similar uniform. I am General Haewon Lee, of the Earth Defense Force, she said, in perfect galactic standard. This is my second in command, Colonel Saw Young Kim. We would like to talk. Admiral Kung Ho stepped forward. I am Admiral Kung Ho of the Veltarian Empire. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick. General Haewon smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Admiral, you misunderstand the situation. We are not here to surrender. We are here to give you one chance to leave. Leave. Kung Ho laughed. You are surrounded by the greatest fleet in galactic history. Are we? Asked Colonel Soyoung. She touched something on her control panel. Suddenly, the space around the Veltarian fleet lit up with thousands of lights. Hidden ships appeared everywhere, surrounding the aliens completely. But these were not the crude human ships they had seen before. These were sleek, deadly vessels that seemed to bend light around them. How many ships do you count now, Admiral? Asked General HAE-1. Captain Sung Ho's voice was barely a whisper. Sir, 10,000, maybe more. They have been hiding all around us. Admiral Kung Ho felt something he had never felt before in his life. Fear. But his pride was stronger than his fear. So what? We still outnumber you. Numbers do not matter when you do not understand how to use them, said General Haewon. You fight like this is a game with rules. You line up your ships in neat formations. You announce your attacks. You fight with honor. She leaned forward. We do not fight with honor, Admiral. We fight to win. The first human attack came from everywhere at once, not just from their ships, but from the space itself. The gravity fields that had felt wrong suddenly became weapons, crushing Veltarian ships like tin cans. Return fire, screamed Kung Ho. All ships, return fire. The Veltarian ships fired their massive weapons, but the human ships were no longer where they had been. They moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing, striking and vanishing before the aliens could fight back. Sir, shouted Admiral Jihai, they are not just attacking our ships, they are attacking our minds. On every Veltarian ship, the crew began to see things that were not there. Their own fears and nightmares came to life in front of them. Soldiers who had never known fear suddenly found themselves paralyzed with terror. What is happening? Demanded Kyung-Ho. General Haewon's voice came over the radio.com and cold. We told you, Admiral, we have been preparing for 50 years. We did not just prepare weapons, we prepared everything. A new voice joined the conversation. It was an older human man with kind eyes, wearing a simple suit. Good afternoon, Admiral. My name is President Junho-ru. I wanted to speak with you personally. What do you want? Asked Kung Ho. I want to offer you the same thing we offered. Commander Taemin, a chance to leave and never come back. Never, shouted Kung Ho. The Veltarian Empire does not retreat. President Junho looked sad. I was afraid you would say that. General Haewon, you may proceed. The human general nodded. Yes, sir. All units, begin Phase 2. The real attack began. The battle above Earth was not going well for the Veltarian Empire. Admiral Kyung-ho watched his mighty fleet break apart like toys in a storm. Human ships moved through space in ways that should not be possible, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. "Sir," shouted Captain Sung-ho, "we have lost half our fleet. We need to retreat." "No," screamed Kyung-ho, "we are the Veltarian Empire. We do not run." But his ships were running. All around him, Veltarian captains were turning their vessels away from Earth, trying to escape the nightmare that surrounded them. On the main screen, General Haewon still stood calmly on her command bridge. "Admiral, this is your last warning. Leave our system now, or we will be forced to take stronger action." "Stronger action?" Kyung-ho laughed wildly. "What could be stronger than this?" General Haewon looked sad. "You really do not understand, do you? This is not our full strength. This is just our home defense. We have been preparing for much more than just protecting Earth." She touched her control panel again. "Admiral Minho, you may begin the counterattack." Suddenly, new ships appeared on the sensors. But these were not near Earth. These were near the Veltarian homeworlds, thousands of light years away. Captain Sung-ho's face went white. "Sir, we are receiving emergency signals from home. We are under attack." "Impossible," shouted K. "Humans cannot travel that far, that fast." On the screen, a new human appeared. He was younger than General Haewon, with sharp eyes and a cold smile. "Good day, Admiral. I am Admiral Minho Park of the Human Space Force. I wanted you to know that we are currently visiting your beautiful homeworlds. You cannot be there. Our scouts would have seen you coming." Admiral Minho shrugged. "Your scouts? You mean these?" The screen showed wreckage floating in space. Pieces of Veltarian spy ships, destroyed so completely that they looked like space dust. "We have been watching your empire for 50 years, Admiral. We know where every one of your worlds is located. We know your trade routes, your military bases, your secret facilities. We know everything about you." More emergency signals came in from across the Veltarian Empire. Planet after planet was under attack by human forces that seemed to come out of nowhere. "How?" whispered Kung-ho. General Haewon answered from Earth. "While you were building bigger ships and bigger guns, we were building something different. We do not just fight in space, Admiral, we fight in dimensions you cannot even imagine." She gestured to someone off screen. A new human stepped forward. She was an older woman with gray hair and tired eyes. "This is Dr. Nari Choi, our chief scientist. She would like to explain something to you." Dr. Nari looked at the camera with the same cold eyes that all humans seem to have. "Admiral, your people think in 3 dimensions. Length, width, height. You build ships that move through normal space using normal physics. So we learned to think in more dimensions. We learned to fold space, to bend time, to move through realities that exist between the spaces in atoms. While you were laughing at our primitive rockets, we were building doorways between stars." As if to prove her point, a massive human ship appeared right next to Admiral Kyung-ho's flagship. It had not flown there. It had simply appeared, as if someone had opened a door in empty space. "Shields up! Fire all weapons!" screamed Kyung-ho, but before his ship could fire, the human vessel was gone again. In its place was a message floating in space, written in letters of pure light. "You are already dead. You just do not know it yet." More reports came in from across the galaxy. The mighty Veltarian Empire was crumbling, not just from human attacks, but from something worse. Fear. Other alien species that had been conquered by the Veltarians were rising up. They had seen the mighty empire defeated by primitive humans, and they realized their oppressors were not as strong as they seemed. "Sir," reported Admiral Ji-hai from her battle station, "we are receiving surrender requests from 12 colony worlds. The local populations are rebelling. They want to join the humans." "Traitors," shouted Kung-ho. Dr. Nara's voice came over the radio again. "Admiral, there is something else you should know. We have been in contact with all the species your empire has enslaved over the years. Turns out, they do not like being slaves." On the screen appeared dozens of different alien faces, species that had been conquered by the Veltarians centuries ago. They all looked angry. One of them, a reptilian creature with scarred skin, spoke in a rough voice. "I am Commander Yu of the Free Draxi Forces. For 200 years, your empire has used my people as workers in your mines. Today, we take our freedom back." Another alien, this one with blue fur and large eyes, joined in. "I am Captain Yunmi of the liberated Zelen fleet. You destroyed our homeworld and scattered our people across the galaxy. Today, we come home." More and more faces appeared on the screen. Dozens of species, all united in their hatred of the Veltarian Empire. All working with the humans. Admiral Minho reappeared on the communication channel. "You see, Admiral, we humans understand something that your empire never learned. It is better to have friends than slaves." "These species are weak," screamed Kyung-ho. "They cannot defeat us." "Alone, you are right," said Admiral Minho. "But, together, with human technology and training, they are quite strong indeed." As if summoned by his words, massive fleets appeared all around the remaining Veltarian ships, not just human vessels, but ships from dozens of species, all working together, all armed with human weapons and tactics. General Haywan's voice was calm and final. Admiral, your empire is finished. Your homeworlds are burning. Your colonies are free. Your fleets are destroyed. This is what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. A new voice joined the conversation. It was President Junho again, speaking from what looked like a simple office on Earth. Admiral Kung-ho, I want you to understand something. We did not want this war. We offered peace to your council. We warned them through survivors of other empires. We tried to avoid this moment. Then why? Asked Kung-ho, his voice now small and broken. Because you would not listen. Because your pride was more important than peace. Because you thought strength meant taking what you wanted from those weaker than you. President Junho leaned forward. Let me tell you what real strength is. Admiral, real strength is protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Real strength is choosing peace when you could choose war. Real strength is building others up instead of tearing them down. Round the solar system, the last Veltarian ships were surrendering or being destroyed. The great empire that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years was ending in a single day. We gave you every chance, continued President Junho, every warning, every opportunity to turn back. You chose this path. Admiral Kyung-ho looked around. His bridge. His officers were staring at their instruments in shock. The Veltarian Empire was gone, not just defeated, but completely destroyed. What happens now? He asked quietly. General Haywan answered. Now you learn what it means to be human. We do not enslave our enemies, Admiral, we teach them to be better. The screen went dark, leaving Admiral Kyung-ho alone with the ruins of his pride and his empire. In the distance, Earth continued to spin peacefully in its orbit, as if nothing had happened at all. 6 months had passed since the great battle above Earth. The Veltarian Empire was gone, its fleets scattered across the galaxy like dust in the wind. But Admiral Kyung-ho was still alive, though he sometimes wished he was not. He sat in a small room on a human space station, looking out at the stars. The room was comfortable but simple. Clean white walls, a soft bed, a desk with books written in many languages. The humans had given him everything he needed to live, but they had taken away everything that made him who he was. The door opened and General Haywan entered, carrying 2 cups of tea. She set one down in front of him and sat in the chair across from his desk. Good morning, Admiral, she said in her calm voice. How are you feeling today? Kyung-ho did not answer. He had not spoken much in the past 6 months. What was there to say? His empire was gone. His people were scattered. His pride was broken. I brought you something, General Haywan said, placing a datapad on the desk. Reports from across the galaxy. I thought you might want to see what has happened since the war ended. Kyung-ho looked at the pad, but did not touch it. More human victories, more worlds conquered. General Haywan shook her head. No conquests, Admiral, liberation. Look. Despite himself, Kyung-ho picked up the pad and began to read. The first report was from the Draxi homeworld. The reptilian species that had been enslaved by his empire for 200 years was now free. They had rebuilt their cities and were trading peacefully with other species. The second report was from the Zellan colonies. The blue-furred people had returned to their homeworld and were working with human scientists to heal the damage done by Veltarian strip mining. Report after report showed the same thing. Species that had been enslaved were now free. Worlds that had been stripped of resources were being healed. Trade routes that had been controlled by the Empire were now open to everyone. I do not understand, Kyung-ho said quietly. Why did you not take control? You defeated us completely. The galaxy is yours. General Haywan sipped her tea. Admiral, I told you before, we do not fight to conquer. We fight to protect. But you could rule everything. Your technology is beyond anything we ever imagined. Your ships can appear anywhere in the galaxy. Your weapons can destroy entire fleets. You could be the new empire. And why would we want that? Asked General Haywan. Kyung-ho stared at her. Power control. The right to take what you want from weaker species. That is where you are wrong. Admiral, we do not want to take anything from anyone. We want to give. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, ships from dozens of different species were docking at the human station. Veltarians, Draxi, Zellans, and many others, all working together. Look out there, she said. See that Veltarian ship? It belongs to Captain In-young Kim, one of your former officers. She chose to work with us instead of fighting us. Kyung-ho looked and saw the ship. It was painted with both human and symbols. She is a traitor. No, said General Haywan. She is a teacher. She helps us understand your people better. She helps your people understand us. She builds bridges instead of walls. The general returned to her seat. Admiral, your empire lasted 1,000 years because it was built on fear. Our alliance will last forever because it is built on friendship. Friendship, Kyung-ho laughed bitterly. You destroyed my entire civilization in a single day. You tried to call that friendship. We destroyed your empire. Yes, But we saved your people. There is a difference. She picked up another data pad from her bag. This is a report from the Veltarian refugee camps. All of your people who want to return home are being helped to do so. Those who want to start new lives on other worlds are being given that chance to. No one is being forced to do anything. Kyung-ho read the report. It was true. Millions of Veltarians were being relocated, fed, given medical care, and helped. To find new homes, the humans were spending enormous resources to help their former enemies. Why? He asked. Because that is what friends do. General Haewon said simply. A soft knock came at the door. Come in, said the general. An old human man entered the room. Kyung-ho recognized him from the broadcasts during the war. President Junho, Rue, the leader of Earth. Good morning, Admiral, President Junho said with a warm smile. I hope you are feeling better today. What do you want? Asked Kyung-ho. I want to offer you a choice, said the president, sitting down at the desk. You can stay here for the rest of your life, comfortable but alone. Or you can help us build something better. Build what? A new kind of galaxy. One where species work together instead of fighting each other. One where the strong help the weak instead of enslaving them. One where everyone has a chance to grow and learn and become more than they were. President Junho leaned forward. We need teachers, Admiral, people who understand how the old system worked and can help us make sure it never happens again. You want me to betray my own people. I want you to help your people. And all people. Kyung-ho was quiet for a long time. Finally, he asked, what about justice? What about punishment for what we did? What would punishment accomplish? Asked General Haewon. Would it bring back the dead? Would it undo the damage? Would it make the galaxy a better place? It would make you feel better, said Kyung-ho. President Junho shook his head. Admiral, we learned something important during our preparation for this war. Revenge makes you feel good for a moment, but it does not fix anything. Building something better makes you feel good forever. He stood up and walked to the window. Out there, former enemies are becoming friends. Former slaves are becoming teachers. Former conquerors are becoming builders. That is justice. Admiral, not punishment, but transformation. And if I refuse, then you refuse, said General Haewon. We will not force you, but we will not give up hope that someday you will choose to help instead of hate. They left him alone with his thoughts and his tea. Outside the window, the galaxy continued to change. Ships that had once carried weapons now carried supplies and medicine. Worlds that had once been battlefields were becoming gardens. Species that had once been enemies were becoming family. Hours later, Kyung-ho stood up and walked to his communication panel. He pressed a button and spoke into the microphone. This is Admiral Kyung-ho. I would like to speak with President Junho. The response came quickly. Of course, Admiral, what can I do for you? Kyung-ho took a deep breath. I would like to help. Help with what? Help build something better. There was silence for a moment. Then President Junho's warm voice came through the speaker. Welcome to the family, Admiral. We have been waiting for you. Outside his window, a new ship appeared. It was built with technology from a dozen different species, crewed by beings who had once been enemies, carrying supplies to worlds that needed help. The age of empires was over. The age of friendship had begun. And in the small room on the human space station, Admiral Kyung-ho smiled for the first time in 6 months. He had spent his life building walls. Now he would spend the rest of it building bridges. The galaxy was healing, and so was he. Far away, on the small blue planet called Earth, Dr. Bjoram and Engineer Woo Jin stood in their simple office, looking at reports from across the stars. Every day brought news of new friendships, new alliances, new hope. Do you think we did the right thing? Asked Engineer Woo Jin. Dr. Bjoram smiled. Ask me in 100 years. But I think our children will inherit a better galaxy than we did. Outside their window, Earth continued to spin peacefully in space. No longer alone, no longer afraid, no longer preparing for war. The trap had worked. The empire had fallen. The fire had burned away the old world, and from the ashes, something beautiful was growing.